I passed that bus stop every single day for 11 years, and the one morning I didn't get on was the morning everything changed. My name is Alex. I'm 42 years old. I work as a doctor, or I used to practice the way I once did. I live alone in a 2-bedroom apartment on the east side of Columbus, Ohio. I own a gray coffee mug with a chip on the handle, a second-hand bookshelf with medical journals I've never finished, and a story I've never told anyone. Until now. This is the story of a Tuesday in November. The most ordinary-looking day I've ever lived, and the most terrifying. It started with a sound. Not an explosion, not a scream, just a sound, small, almost nothing. A single tap on my bathroom window at 5:47 in the morning. I was standing at the sink brushing my teeth. The window faces a brick wall. There's nothing out there. No tree branch, no fire escape. No bird could reach it at that angle. Just brick and 6 inches of cold morning air. I stood there, toothbrush in my mouth, staring at the frosted glass. Nothing moved. I told myself it was the pipes. Old building, old pipes. They knock and tap all the time. I rinsed, dried my face, and went to get dressed. But somewhere in the back of my mind, something filed that sound away, quietly, like a librarian placing a book on a shelf, not throwing it away, just storing it for later. I left my apartment at 6:15. My routine was surgical. Same coat, same bag, same left foot first step out the door. I walked down Meridian Street, turned onto Grant Avenue, and at exactly 6:22, I reached the corner of Grant and 5th, the bus stop where the number 9 had picked me up every single workday for 11 years. That morning, the bus was already there, idling, doors open. I could see the driver, a heavy-set man named Curtis who always wore a Cleveland Browns cap even though we were in Columbus. I liked Curtis. He nodded at regulars. Never said much, but his nod meant, "I see you. You belong here." I reached into my coat pocket for my transit card. It wasn't there. I checked my other pocket. My bag, my inside jacket pocket, nothing. The doors closed. The number 9 pulled away. I stood on that corner, watching the back of the bus disappear around the bend on 5th Street, and I felt that specific, low-level frustration of a man who likes order and has just experienced disorder. As a doctor, my entire day runs on timing. Early rounds, patient consultations, scheduled procedures. A missed bus wasn't just inconvenient. It was a disruption to a system I had built carefully over years. I calculated quickly. The next bus was 40 minutes away. A cab would cost me $12 I didn't want to spend. The walk to Columbus General Hospital on Broad Street was 19 minutes. I walked, and that small, stupid, forgotten transit card is the reason I'm alive today. I found out later what happened on the number 9 that morning, but I'll get to that. Because the story doesn't start on the bus. The story starts on the sidewalk, with the man in the gray jacket. I noticed him about 4 minutes into my walk. He was maybe half a block behind me. Tall, lean, gray jacket, dark pants, moving at exactly my pace. Not faster, not slower, just matched. Now, I want to be honest with you. At first, I didn't think anything of it. People walk to work. People walk at the same pace. That's normal. Columbus is not a small town. Thousands of people move through those streets every morning. But then I stopped to tie my shoe. He stopped too. Not obviously. He didn't freeze. He just slowed, and then turned slightly, like he was looking at a storefront window. Except we were in front of a vacant building, plywood boards where the windows used to be, There was nothing to look at. I stood up. I kept walking. He kept walking. I told myself, Alex, you're a doctor. You deal with high-pressure situations every single day. You read symptoms, you read people, you read rooms. You are not dramatic. This is nothing. But my feet disagreed, because without consciously deciding to, I turned left on Mound Street instead of continuing straight on Grant. It added 3 minutes to my walk. I'd never gone that way before. 30 seconds later, he turned left on Mound Street too. My mouth went dry. I want to tell you I handled this like a calm, rational professional. I want to tell you I immediately called the police or ducked into an open business or turned around and confronted him. I didn't do any of those things. I sped up. I've thought a lot about why I didn't just stop and call someone. And the honest answer is this: I wasn't sure. I was almost sure, but not completely sure. And there is something deeply uncomfortable about the idea of being wrong, of calling 911 and pointing at some innocent man who just happened to walk the same route as you. The fear of embarrassment kept me quiet, and that is a dangerous kind of fear. I turned onto Parsons Avenue and ducked into a small diner called Rosie's. I'd been in there twice in my life. It smelled like coffee and butter and something faintly burned. A woman behind the counter looked up. "Just you?" "Just me," I said. "I'll take a coffee." I sat in a booth by the window. I could see the sidewalk clearly. He walked past, slowly. His face turned toward the glass for just one moment, and I got a clear look at him for the first time. He was maybe 50, sharp features, a pale scar running from his left ear toward his jaw, and his eyes. They were scanning. Not looking at the menu board, not glancing up at a sound. Scanning, the way a person scans when they're looking for something specific. He walked on. I sat in that booth for 11 minutes. I drank half a cup of coffee. I watched the door. He didn't come back. When I finally left and walked the rest of the way to the hospital, I told myself it was over. Coincidence. A man who happened to turn the same corner. The scar was just a scar. The scanning was just a habit. I almost believed it. I got to the hospital at 7:04. My colleague, Dr. Brenda Walsh, was already at the nurses' station reviewing morning charts. She's the kind of person who arrives early and notices everything. "You walked today," she said. Not a question. Lost my transit card. "You hear about the number 9? I looked at her. "What about it?" She turned her monitor toward me. A local news website. And there it was. Passenger confrontation on Coda bus halts service on 5th Street. Man detained after threatening driver with weapon. Several passengers treated for shock. No fatalities. I read it 3 times. The number 9. My bus. 6:22 in the morning. Curtis, the driver in the Browns cap. He was one of the people treated at the scene. He was okay, the article said. Shaken, but okay. I sat down, and I didn't move for a long time.